You created a plan for transforming federal IT management. Near the top of the plan was the cloud-first policy. What does that mean, and why did you consider it so important?
I asked a very simple question, which is that if a small business, a startup, was going to launch, how would they actually launch a company in the private sector? Well, most companies, if you went to venture capitalists or your board of directors and said, you know, I need millions of dollars because I need to hire an army of consultants to stand up my email system. I need to basically build a custom financial system, or I actually need to build out a data center so I can host a website, you would get laughed out of the room. And that's exactly what the federal government was doing. And so as I looked at that, I said, well, what are startups doing? Well, if they're starting up a company, they're going to go to Google for email or Microsoft, Hotmail. They're going to go to Intuit and use QuickBooks for their financial systems. They're actually going to go to a number of providers online to stand up a website, and they get value day one. Literally, they provision those services. They don't spend months or years procuring the services. For the federal government, imagine with a purchasing power of $80 billion, if we demanded out of the vendor community and said, we want value day number one. We don't want to wait years, and we don't want to spend millions of dollars because we've seen this movie, and it always ends poorly. Because cloud computing is going to be a platform for innovation as we move forward. Now, what I want to do here is actually jump into some of the case studies that we've highlighted in the report that's going to be on CIO.gov. So if you think about it from a business perspective, the SEC moved to Salesforce when it came to thinking about the volume of responses that it was getting. 90,000 people go to the SEC and they complain on an annual basis about transactions that are being conducted. And in its role, the SEC unfortunately had 10-year-old technology and wasn't really able to serve the public consistent with its mission. By moving to Salesforce.com, what the SEC was able to do was cut the time it took to actually process cases from 30 days to 7 days. It was also able to move away from a model where you had an inefficient, distributed headquarters model where you're moving around paper to a single platform where SEC officers could track cases and complaints across the board, upload documents, share them centrally, and keep track of what's going on.